Lieutenant General, I, Amna Mansoor, on behalf of the entire interview panel, would like to extend heartfelt gratitude for your time. On interview panel, we have Khadija Ali, Muhammad Ali Raza, Munibur Rahman, and Fazan Ali. Ma'am, your willingness to share your experiences is truly appreciated. With your permission, we would like to go towards our first question, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am,
I'm humbled and honored. You can ask questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please tell us about your journey and experiences that led you to be the first female Lieutenant General of Pakistan Army, ma'am? Where did you initially start from?
So it was like everybody else. I had a beautiful childhood, and during childhood I wanted to be a doctor. And maybe because I was eldest among the 5 siblings, the 5 brothers and sisters that we were, so my brothers were quite naughty with injuries here and there all the time. So I had to actually bandage them, being the elder sister, and the role that I played. So maybe that made me think about becoming a doctor, but I don't remember when I decided in my childhood to be a doctor. But then my father was in army, and he was like a hero to me. Like most of the girls, their heroes are their fathers. So I actually wanted to wear the same uniform. So at that time it was a difficult concept that a female should be wearing an army uniform. And secondly, then the area that I belonged to was another challenge, that in those areas getting a higher education was also sort of out of question, or a dream. So then I was dreaming the both. So that is how I started. And then when you start, Allah helps you, and surroundings help you, the environment helps you. They say the whole nature gets to your wishes and to your success, and they work with you. So that is what happened to me.
What advice do you have for young women who want to pursue their careers in military or any field that is considered unconventional for women?
I feel they can go to any field that they want to. It is not that you become a doctor and you think you are the best. No. A nurse can be the best, and a paramedic can be a best, an engineer can be a best. Anybody who is working is making a difference in the lives of people, of himself, herself, or the people. So I feel wherever they're working, they have to work with passion and sincerity, and of course, hard work and persistence. Without that, you can't excel. So they should excel wherever they are working. We at times we are looking for people around, like if you are working in administration, you want to give the work only to the best clerk. So that best clerk is the best. So he has worked hard to earn that reputation and to earn that respect. So it is the respect actually that you are looking for and you are earning. So for that you have to work. You have to work with a passion that whatever you're doing is a great job, and you have to do it the best way.
Ma'am, gender diversity and inclusivity are important topics of today's world.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what challenges did you face as a trailblazer in a male-dominated field? Yes. And how did you overcome them?
Yes, we have a male-dominated society, and it is because of there's that dominance. It doesn't mean that they want to command us, or they think we are something lower down on the ladder. It is just that they become overprotective for us. So at times it is the overprotective attitude, and at times it is the ego that comes in. So then they don't let the females come up, or they think that what do they know? They don't know anything. So why should they be allowed? But at night, when a boy can go out on a car to bring something, a female going out to do the same thing is thought it is not right. Although it's just an errand of a household, but then they think that it is not, because they think that she has to be protected. So you are working against the culture and the traditions. So when you are working against them, but the people are there, they love you, and that is why they want to protect you. So you don't actually go against them. You try to make them understand. So if you want to make them understand, then you do require certain kind of patience and certain kind of compassion to compel them, and you have to work on it to make them understand that the females has to go up. And diversity, the word that you said, is very, very right, because I would always tell the people in the male in army That how can you decide for females without female being part of the committee?
Yeah.
You have to put them there, you have to include them, because you don't know what the female problem is. So how can you decide without knowing their problem? Because you are not females. So don't try to be that. Rather, that is what diversity is about. How can you decide about Balochistan if the Balochi is not there? Because and similarly, how can you decide about a Pathan when a Pathan is not there? You don't understand their culture. You don't understand their requirements. You can't understand their difficulties. So when you have a group or a committee or whatever you call it, which has a diversity, it has males, it has females, and at the same time, it includes all kind of groups that you have in your culture and your society, at least the broader ones. So only then the decision, whatever you take, would be the right decision. Otherwise, it would be a wrong decision. For example, if somebody from a city decides that the hospitals should have a defibrillator and we should put a defibrillator in the BHU and everything, when you have not even gone to a BHU, you have not been into those people, how can you decide for them? They don't have even the minor things there to sustain them. So what they do? There is no electricity over there. There is no generator over there. What are they going to do with the defibrillator? You can't even charge it there. So the perspective changes when there is inclusiveness. So when you have inclusiveness, you can decide better.
Ma'am, can you recall a situation where you have to change your approaches or priorities in response to unexpected changes? And how did you handle it?
Of course, there are 101 occasions there when I have to change my approach. But that's what is flexibility, and you need to have it. If you don't change your perspective, then you don't have an open mind. If it is fixed and rigid, then you are bound to do wrong decisions. So when you ask anybody else that, all right, what do you think, and what she thinks or what he thinks, and then you get a holistic picture. And then whatever your thought process is, that changes. And it has happened to me so many times. For example, I will tell you, I was just telling them that I went to CMH Loralai. Why? Because I thought when my troops are not there, the army is not there in the Loralai, it has moved out. So why a CMH is there? It is supposed to look after the army people. So there is no army, so why, and there is no families. So why do I have a CMH over there, 25 bedded, when you are already short of HR, so you can utilize that HR somewhere else? So I just flew to that CMH, to Loralai. So when I went there, I realized there was a major gynecologist and the whole of the district didn't have the gynecologist. She was the only gynecologist over there. So that's a huge district. So what do? Pull out that gynecologist and leave the women to die over there? So my perspective totally changed. Yes, I'm short of HR, but here are so many women that would die if I pull out the gynecologist. They are not from army, but then we are actually all Pakistanis. So I didn't do that. So there are so many occasions when you change your decisions because you know when you are flexible, so you understand other things. For example, I was in PMDC and the PMDC said that they wanted a certain standard of education. Yes, I am for a quality education, of course. So there was a certain standard set and we want this. A medical college coming on this standard would be recognized. So there were 3 medical colleges of Balochistan that were not recognized. So I went to those areas. I went to Turbat. So when I went to Turbat, I went to visit my own people, my own unit, but then I also went to my own civil people. So I went to the DHQ just to see what can I get from a DHQ if my soldier is injured or something happens to him. So what do the DHQ offer? So that we can, before the person is evacuated on a heli, what we can do, how can we save lives? So I went to the DHQ and I was surprised. They had CT scan and they had so much more to offer. And there were 25 specialties. And then I realized, why didn't we recognize the Medical College of Turbat? When there is no healthcare worker over there, the the BHUs and the THQs and the RHC, they are lying vacant because nobody is ready to work there. From KPK, from Balochistan, from Punjab, from Sindh. And we are not recognizing those colleges. So what is going to happen? So I came back and I fought their case in the PMC. And I said they have a huge workload of patients and they need doctors. If we do not recognize their doctors, so well, will you go and work there? Somebody has to work there. So even if their standard is low, at least there are doctors. So the perspective, it changes. You have to be flexible. And then the 3 colleges were recognized. So I feel that you have to keep your mind open and look at the situation and hear the other people, and then of course your decision can change, and it should change. Why not? Why should you stick to a decision?
Ma'am, balancing leadership responsibilities with the family life will be very challenging.
Yeah.
And how did you maintain the work-life balance? And
Okay, that's a good question. And I always say that balance is something not like that if you have a 12-hour day, that you say that 6 hours is for the job and 6 hours is for the family. No, it's not. There is no cut-off line and there is no on-off switch. It is the priorities. There would be a day when your husband is not feeling well and the priority goes to him. And you tell your people at the job that I am not coming today because Johar is not well, I am going to do something for him. And there would be days when you tell Johar, aaj main nahi aane ki, aaj main udhar hi rahungi. Because you have a job to do there and you can't leave people. And then I feel it is the female, how they, if they are working, or the males if they are working, how they train the spouse. It is also a kind of training. If you tell them, I am late because I had a job to do and there was a patient and I couldn't leave the patient and I had to do certain procedure for him. If I didn't do it, he would have died. So I was stuck there and I had to do it. He would realize that, right? So my husband, your Amir and Tahir would bear me out, that he would actually say me the other way. If I would go there to my house and I say, oh, मैं शुक्र है आज जल्दी आ गया, तो कहते मरीज तो नहीं छोड़ आई. Because he understood me and he knew that this was important. If I was the one who would be craving कि 6 बज गए अभी तक जो है ना मुझे उन्होंने छोड़ा ही नहीं और मैंने तो खाना भी नहीं खाया तो मैं तो तक भी बढ़ी गई तो मुझे ये भी हो गया तो मुझे वो भी हो गया. So that is how he will think.
Ma'am, the military, it often operates in very stressful environments. How do you ensure the mental and emotional well-being of medical personnel and soldiers under your command?
Well, you can't actually put in emotional intelligence to everyone. But there's a tier below the highest tier. So you try to tell them, you try to make them emotionally intelligent so that they can then guide the other ones. And this is what I say when I am at the top, when I was at the top. But when I was also in the junior ranks, I was also there. So then you have time to give. Then you have to listen to them. So I would always tell them, when I was an Adam officer or I was like that, I said, the only thing that I would ask is that please listen to the other person. If you can't satisfy him, tell the head of department. If they can't satisfy him, I am here for this purpose. Just take me there. I will talk to the person. But just take me there. So there are so many examples. This would happen every day almost when I was in an administration. For example, there was a Subedar and his wife, second wife, she had a C-section. And there was a complication which was beyond anybody's amniotic fluid embolism. You can't control it. And she was actually dying. And it happened during surgery. That is when these things happen. So, but this is not under your control. But let's look at the person. He should be shouting because it was his second wife. The first wife had already died. So she was also dying. So you could at least understand the emotional trauma that he was undergoing. So he was not, the people couldn't make him understand for obvious reasons. The head of department, the head of anesthesia, the gynecologist, they couldn't make him understand. So this called me, I went there. I went as quickly as I can because that is what you do. You listen to the person, be available to that person. We shun away from such situation. We should not. We should face those situations. We should listen to the people. So I went there and I said, yes, it is very unfortunate. It is bad, but it is not our hands. But we will try to do whatever we can. He said, no, she is already dead. They just put her on a machine to tell me that she is alive. She is not dead. I said, okay, you come with me to the ITC. I took him to the ITC. I said, this machine, yes, this can give breaths to even to a dead person. But what about this machine, the cardiac monitor? It can't make the heartbeats. The heartbeats are there, that is why this machine is there. So yes, she is not breathing, but the heart is working. So we call a person dead when the heart and lungs both fail. So at the moment she is alive, but we don't know whether she would live. Then he was fine. So you have to at times satisfy them. At times they will not be satisfied. Even then you have to do your best. So I feel that when you are juniors, you have to do it yourself. And when you become seniors, you have to make the other senior realize that they have to train the other people in this way.
Ma'am, can you please share a favorite book quote or a resource that had a profound effect on your personal and professional
I quoted
development?
it. Yeah. I'll quote it again. Churchill, he said, and I quote, you see things and you say, why? I dream of things that never were, and I say, why not? Go beyond your limits. Dream more than your limits. Why not dream? So I think we all dream. When I was a small child, there was a black and white TV. There was no color TV. And I was very fond of it. But my parents had given me 2 hours that you can watch TV for 2 hours. And in those times, I would just glue to the screen. I would see the Star Trek, I would see the 007 and James Bond and whatever. And I would actually, it would go into my memory as a whole because I would see them. But then I would say, why can't I just lie on the bed and there should be a TV at the end? There was a big TV with this much. But this was not only me that was dreaming. There were so many people in the world that were dreaming the same thing probably. And now we have this TV. You hang it on the wall or hang it on the roof. So your imagination, dream of things that never were. Why not?
Thank you so much, ma'am.